a new study finds travel costs as one of the major factors for the lack of availability of substitute teachers. Could the solution be covering those costs?
There you have it. Get in touch. 0896 111 111. We're going to discuss that story and everything else this morning with, from thejournal.ie, Orla Ryan. Good morning to you, Orla. Great to have you with us.
Hi,
Substitute teachers, it turns out there are a lot of them out there, but just they need to be paid travel expenses.
There's a lot of them. I mean, we've heard a lot in recent weeks about all the travel expenses that TDs and ministers get or are going to get, but teachers don't get them. So, yeah, there's over 70,000 permanent teaching staff across Ireland, across primary and secondary school, but there's about 40,000 further substitute teachers, so that's a huge number.
40,000?
Yeah, there's
that's
a lot of them.
insane.
Yeah, so there's the survey that's in the Irish Times. It's on the back of a Department of Education poll that they did with about 300 substitutes. So it's a small sample size, but it gives, it gives an idea of what are some of the teachers' main concerns. And about a third of them said one of the biggest issues is, travel distance from the school. Obviously, it might not be worth your while if you're driving an hour or more to school to do a few days. So they said, 6 in 10 of them said, if we had travel expenses, they'd be much more likely to take up a post that's a little bit further away.
This is incredible, and you bring up a very important point, because we know that the new junior ministers are getting up to €34,000 in travel expenses this year that they can claim.
Yeah.
And we've got a few of them, but all of we've got so many gaping holes in our education system with teachers.
Yeah, they said about a quarter of school days need to be filled by substitutes. Obviously, teachers get sick, or they have to go away, or these things happen, and they need that pool of teachers. But so there is a huge pool, but a lot of them are taking
there's 40,000 available substitute teachers.
Yeah.
What do they do all the time?
So they said there's 33,000 individuals provided substitution in primary schools last year and 9,000 in second level schools.
Wow. We'd love to hear from you on this. If you're involved in a school and you don't have teachers and you hear that there's actually an awful lot available, would you like to see them be given travel expenses?
But if it's not worth your while driving to that school.
No, and they could be filling
a
day here and there, and then
yeah.
maybe they get 6 months somewhere, so they're there for a longer period, but they are probably trying to get longer term work, but they're filling in here and there until they get a longer
And particularly in rural Ireland. Do you mean it's grand if you're all around Dublin, but if you're in rural Ireland and you have to travel to the next county,
or what if you don't
else?
drive? Obviously, most people, they say they have to drive because there's no way to get somewhere else if you're in rural Ireland.
Yeah, and this is about substitute, not people who are permanent, because there's an awful lot of arguments made for us where nurses are living in completely different counties from where their hospital is, and that happens across the public sector, of course, with loads of guards as well. We'd love to hear from you on this. 0896 111 111. Is that something that we should be looking at, considering that an awful lot of TDs are getting travel expenses?
And how frustrating it is, because you see that it's always the school principals who are having to go around, get the phone call in the morning to say someone's not coming in, ringing around everyone trying to get a substitute in that day, but can't offer the travel expenses.